made 2 videos on the Baltimore Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, to be precise. And there are more details that need to be covered. And first off, before even starting, I want to thank Robert Weissenbach for this footage. He sent this to my Facebook page, and it's very relevant to the whole entire story. This interview conducted on Fox and Friends, Fox News, just several hours after this whole incident went down with this one Amazon employee. And let's play this very short clip, then I'll get right to the information.
I couldn't see anything. It was pretty dark. So it's still kind of dark outside. It's 5 a.m. And I'm not even outside right now. I'm in the ERC room at my job.
And as this individual just stated, 5 a.m., actually 5:09 a.m. Eastern Time. And there's definitely a lot of connections to be made here with Amazon. Take a look here at the cap worn by this employee. Amazon, obviously. Then it says DCA6. Just take a look at what you see here. In gematria in full reduction, it just so happens to be 33. For those who are wondering what the DCA6 stands for, that's for a local Amazon hub in the area. I'll get more of that in a little bit. And as far as the name Amazon itself, hidden in plain sight. First off, let's take a look here when it comes to Freemasonry. Masons say we are everywhere, and they are. And it's always in plain sight, hidden in plain sight. As you can see, the founder, the creator of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, doing the one-eye symbolism with a CD. And obviously, for those that know anything about the occult of carving of the right eye, just as you see here, as I've shown previously in other videos, the covering of the right eye all has to do, and it's from the Bible verse, Zechariah 11:17, where it states, "And his right eye will be blind," referring to the Antichrist. And that gets into Manly P. Hall, a very famous Freemason, who stated once, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. And that gets back to Jeff Bezos. And definitely, the whole concept of Amazon wasn't pulled out of thin air. Amazon basically is a Mason. You just flip the Z around, and you separate the A and the M, you get a Mason. Now, as far as symbolism is concerned, with the arrow, so-called arrow from A to Z, it's more like Satan's tail, and also the phallic symbol. Not to be too graphic, but we know what this means with the male part. Just as you see with the rocket's head. Make no mistake about it, this is by design. Everything is by design when it comes to these Satanists that run this world and control all of TV, all these major companies. Again, make no mistake about it. Again, covering the right eye. In the CD. One thing I want to point out, going back in time, of course, when it comes to records, just like a CD-ROM where you have the center cut out as a disc. And to me, this represents the black hole sun. In both cases, with both situations with the CD, as you see here, right dead center. More information, more to show when it comes to the format. It was 33 1/3 revolutions per minute, RPMs. So there's always the occultic side to these things that are put out in society in plain sight, and many people have no idea what's taking place whatsoever. But again, getting back to 33 1/3, not just represented in the music industry. Take a look here, going back to the 90s with Naked Gun, 33 1/3 as well. People that own and control both the music industry, Hollywood, which is nothing but witchcraft, and all major aspects of society are controlled by these satanic Masons. Just like I've shown here before. And for the new viewers of my channel, this is what all comes down to. The 33, it represents a third or 33% of the fallen angels, which also are interchangeable with stars. Stars and angels are one and the same. And this is something I pointed out many times over the years, and it should not be disputed. Even as you see here from Bible Tools, their website regarding stars, a symbol of angels is used, meaning his angels, demons, were cast out with him. The devil, Lucifer, of course, one of the same, and his angels were cast to earth. We have insight into a major battle that took place in heaven, one that Satan and his angels lost, and they were cast to the earth. Unfortunately, that is where we live. The whole entire topic of fallen angels and stars being one and the same, this should be very clear with the pagan holiday of Christmas, where stars and angels are toppers on top of trees, and obviously, again, interchangeable, clearly, in the angel of light, as it states here. Take a look at 2 Corinthians 11, verses 4 through 15, as it states, Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. His servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. So again, things are not as they seem in this world. And for those that dispute what I say, take a look here. Again, with stars being angels, take a closer look at the design here with the star holding an angel. Again, one of the same. And even a closer look with the 666 in plain sight with the design. And again, for those that dispute this, take a look here what the Bible says from Jeremiah 10, verses 2 through 4. This is what the Lord says, Do not learn the ways of the nations, for the customs of the people are worthless. They cut a tree out of the forest. They adorn it with silver and gold, and they fasten it with hammer and nails. And obviously you see it right here with the Christmas tree in plain sight. And also I should mention as well as the topper. Look at these companies, what they name the topper star. It's called Polaris. As I mentioned before in my previous video, Polaris is Lucifer. And this company specifically has 9 lights. If anybody's watched my video on Polaris is Lucifer, they'll understand where I mention how in the Satanic Church, Anton LaVey, he picks up a large brass bell and he slowly revolves it counterclockwise in front of his followers. Of course, Satanists do things in opposites in reverse. Then he rings the bell 9 times, and it states here, this is Satan's number. So this number 9 is very key and very important to understand the satanic system and the why and the reason behind things. Like I mentioned, the number 9. And that gets back to the Bible verse, how Satan masquerades as an angel of light. So we have to be very clear about this, about symbolism. It's a long road back here to this topic with this individual working at the Amazon plant, the distribution center. Now let's take a look here, as I showed in my previous video. This individual, Jesus Campos, as you see here, one of the first individuals to be interviewed after this all went down. As I mentioned in my previous video, his name is 33 numerology, but Jesus is also spelled Jesus. Now again, the connection here is going to be pretty amazing when it comes to the Golden Gate Bridge. Take a look here at the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And here is the Amazon Distribution Center, just right across, of course. Let's take a close look. Very interesting connection here. Look at the street name here, Bethlehem Boulevard. Okay, let's get another look here. And you can clearly see it. Bethlehem Boulevard, looking across to the bridge here, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now this connection is going to be made here. It's all going to connect with the Golden Gate in Bethlehem, which of course biblically is the birthplace of Jesus. And that brings us to the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, of course, the color orange. Orange, the only color numerology, that is 33. And for some that might say the Golden Gate Bridge is actually red. I've heard that before, that statement before, in previous videos on the Golden Gate Bridge. You can see here from the Golden Gate Bridge's official website, there's many different color codes for the color orange. This one's called International Orange. So let's not have a dispute about the color of the bridge. It's definitely an orange color. And that gets into the huge connection when it comes to Baltimore and San Francisco. Just take a look here once again at Bethlehem, where the Amazon employee interview was conducted, just across from the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Take a look here. The Golden Gate Bridge, again constructed in 1933. All the steel came by railway all the way from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. Unbelievable connection that I find extremely interesting with the two bridges. And another amazing connection with the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge with the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Francis in Spanish, for all my Spanish-speaking friends like Romina, Francis is Francisco in Spanish. Just another amazing coincidence connecting the two bridges together. Now, in the map of the U.S., when you have Baltimore and San Francisco, it's like duality, one end to the other, the opposite ends. And that brings us more to something I've covered several times in the past, going back 10 years ago, with predictive programming and the Golden Gate Bridge. Just take a look here more recently with the San Antonio Spurs official Instagram page. They showed this big boot hovering over the Golden Gate Bridge like it's going to be destroyed. And for the record, you could check Instagram and the official page for the San Antonio Spurs. It was posted March 9th. And for reference, images from the videos I made in the past regarding the Golden Gate Bridge predictive programming. Here is from the Terminator movie from the series. This one is called Terminator Genesis. Of course, biblically, Genesis, the first chapter in the Bible. And take a look at the Golden Gate Bridge destroyed. And more of the same with other movies, as you can see here. It's a common theme going throughout history when it comes to movies. And as we all know, or should know, there's a lot of predictive programming in movies. And in the video I made years ago, I break it all down when it comes to symbolism, the connection with Egypt and the Golden Gate, the telephone booth symbolism, the Spirit of 76 gas station, and much more. Wheel symbolism, and so forth. I'll post that video on my new Rumble channel in the near future. And more of the same when it comes to the Golden Gate Bridge predictive programming. With this animation, also, another piece of predictive programming when it comes to Baltimore is the Dali cargo ship. And just take a look at this artwork going back to 1945. And you see the bridge. And just a little bit of a close-up of the actual bridge. The title, The Broken Bridge and the Dream. And here's one for the coincidence theorist out there. The maker of the artwork, his name is Salvador Dali. Again, just an amazing coincidence for all the coincidence theorists.
John chapter 9, verse 25. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see. Now I can see. Now